one.
Hello movie lovers and political junkies, and welcome to Meet Me at the Movies on C19 TV. I'm Noel T II, and today we're diving into the wild, scandalous, and often hilarious world of politics and film. So from backroom deals and courtroom drama to high-stakes campaigns and espionage, well, we're going to give you a front row seat to some of cinema's wildest political plays. So, whether you're here for the suspense, for the gut-punching satire, or just to see how far power-hungry people will go, this lineup has something for just about everybody. So I encourage you to grab your popcorn, preferably with some extra movie butter, because we are about to dig into some of Hollywood's most chaotic and entertaining political rides. So head over to the voting booth, get out your ballot sheets, and dive into the madness. All right, we're going to start out with a classic, All the President's Men from 1976. This iconic political thriller digs deep into the Watergate scandal with Robert Redford and Dustin Hoffman playing real-life journalists Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein. This film reveals that the relentless pursuit of truth will eventually lead to the resignation of President Richard Nixon. Directed by Alan J. Pakula, this film captures the intensity of investigative journalism and the risk that some are willing to take to uncover powerful secrets. The set of the Washington Post newsroom was so meticulously recreated here that even the trash cans had accuracy. All the President's Men not only won 4 Academy Awards, but it also inspired generations of journalists. Based on true events, this film reminds us that sometimes the greatest battles are fought with the pen rather than the sword. Next on our list is Mr. Smith Goes to Washington from 1939. Frank Capra's Mr. Smith Goes to Washington stars Jimmy Stewart as Jefferson Smith, a wholesome, idealistic senator who stands up against corruption in Washington. Stewart's portrayal of this small-town hero fighting the system really did resonate with audiences, especially during the political turbulence of the 1930s. The film's fabulous filibuster scene is one of the most memorable moments in cinematic history, showing Smith standing his ground for nearly 24 hours. Trivia alert here. Real-life politicians initially condemned this film. They felt that it painted Congress in a negative light, feeling that it was not what we should be showing to the American people. But it later became a beloved American classic, reminding us that one person, no matter how small, can make a difference. That's right, one person can make a difference. Stewart's performance here earned him an Oscar nomination and solidified his status as an American icon. We're going to fast forward to 2011, and George Clooney brought us The Ides of March. He starred and directed in this political drama that takes us behind the scenes of a presidential campaign. Ryan Gosling plays a talented campaign manager who navigates the dirty side of politics. He learns that loyalty and ambition do not always mix well. Clooney's portrayal of this charismatic governor brings the charm, while Gosling's character brings the grit. Now, a little bit of trivia here. Clooney, who is known for his vocal political views, he co-wrote the script, interjecting real-world themes of deception and moral ambiguity. The Ides of March reminds us that the closer you are to power, the more dangerous the game can become. This is a 21st century political drama that entertains, and it also questions the true cost of ambition. From 1964, Dr. Strangelove, Stanley Kubrick's satirical masterpiece, is as dark as it is hilarious. Peter Sellers is in multiple roles, including the unforgettable Dr. Strangelove. This film mocks Cold War paranoia and also the absurdities of nuclear diplomacy. Sellers' performances are a comic tour de force, each character more outrageous than the last. Now, Kubrick's original intent was to make this a serious film, but really the ridiculousness of the nuclear policies led him to take a dark comedy approach. Another fun fact for this film, many scenes were improvised, including that famous scene, that famous line, "Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is a war room."
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
This film remains a timeless satire on military and political hubris.
Yeah, you bet your sweets, Mr. Commie. Look at this, Mr. President. This lousy commie rat was taking pictures with this thing of the big board.
Lincoln from 2012, this is Steven Spielberg's amazing film starring Daniel Day-Lewis in an Oscar-winning role as the 16th U.S. President. Now, this focuses on Lincoln's efforts to pass the 13th Amendment. The film also portrays Lincoln as a political strategist willing to make morally complex decisions for the greater good. Daniel Day-Lewis's portrayal was so nuanced that he reportedly stayed in character throughout the filming, even speaking in Lincoln's voice while he was off camera. Let's revisit the Cold War with the Manchurian Candidate from 1962. This psychological thriller stars Frank Sinatra and Angela Lansbury in a story of mind control, political conspiracy, and Cold War paranoia. This film follows a brainwashed war hero who's manipulated to carrying out an assassination. Lansbury's portrayal of a manipulative mother is chilling, and she also received an Oscar nomination for her performance. Strange fact here, The Manchurian Candidate was briefly pulled from theaters following the actual assassination of President John F. Kennedy because the plot hit too close to reality. This does remain a tense and suspenseful film that explores the dark side, that's right, the dark side of political power. Now, in 2004, Jonathan Demme's updated remake starred Denzel Washington, also Liev Schreiber, and the legendary Meryl Streep. This remake does combine the suspenseful paranoia with commentary on political power and corruption, making it a timely story about the darker side of patriotism. One intriguing piece of trivia here that I want to make sure I share, the film's unsettling brainwashing scenes took inspiration from real-life psychological experiments, adding very eerily to the authentic feel of this narrative. JFK from 1991, a solid film and one of my favorites for a lot of reasons. Oliver Stone's JFK dives into the conspiracy theories surrounding the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, with Kevin Costner starring as New Orleans DA Jim Garrison. Known for its complex narrative, phenomenal editing, and repurposed authentic footage, JFK blurred the lines between historical accuracy and drama for the sake of drama. It sparked a national debate. Little trivia here, Stone's bold directional choices that included experimentation emerging numerous black and white and color film stocks gave this Oscar winner a very distinct documentary style feel. Love it or hate it, JFK really is a landmark in political cinema that questions official narratives and challenges the audience to think critically. So we're not finished talking about Nixon, because here we are with the Nixon time era, The Post from 2017. This film is also our second Steven Spielberg film on the list. Here he's going to reunite with Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks in a gripping story about journalistic courage as the Washington Post fights to publish the Pentagon Papers. Streep's portrayal as Katharine Graham, the Post publisher, adds a very personal touch to this political drama, and it showcases the pressure and the risk involved in standing up to the government. Fun fact here, Streep received her 21st Oscar nomination. That's right, for The Post, Streep received her 21st Oscar nomination for that role. It further added that she is truly Hollywood royalty. The Post is both a celebration of the freedom of the press and a cautionary tale about the power of truth within a democracy.
What are you going to do, Mrs. Graham?
Well, I have to say that the Nixon years are front and center on this show, including this next entry from 2008, Frost Nixon. Michael Sheen and Frank Langella reenact the legendary interviews between the British talk show host David Frost and the former president Richard Nixon. The film, directed by Opie Cunningham himself, Mr. Ron Howard dives into the intense verbal battles as Frost pushes Nixon to admit his involvement in the Watergate scandal. Langella's portrayal of Nixon earned him an Oscar nomination, and his performance humanizes a very controversial figure while also highlighting the importance of accountability. A little trivia here, Langella reportedly stayed in character, much like Daniel Day-Lewis did in Lincoln, did that between takes to maintain that tension. Frost Nixon captures that psychological intensity of the interviews that really ultimately reshaped the public perception of Nixon. Wag the Dog from 1997. This dark comedy stars Dustin Hoffman and Robert De Niro, and it follows a Hollywood producer and a political spin doctor who fabricate a war to distract the public from a presidential scandal. Directed by Barry Levinson, Wag the Dog blurs the line between media and government manipulation, and it shows just how easily that reality can be twisted. Crazy fact here. The film was released just before the Bill Clinton-Monica Lewinsky scandal broke, making its plot eerily relevant. It's a clever satire that feels as timely today as it did now, and it sheds light on the absurdity of what can happen when media manipulation and political collusion take center stage. Well, folks, what a ride so far. From scheming senators to journalists risking it all, we're only halfway through the madness. So take a quick breather, refill that popcorn bucket, and honestly, don't go anywhere, because we've got more of the chaos, more of the scandal, and more of the political shenanigans waiting for you on the other side of the intermission. Stick around. Meet me in the movies right here on C19 TV. I'm Noel T. Manning II, and we're going to be right back.
Won't you come and meet me at the movies? Won't you come and watch a flick?
Cakes and cookies, toys and gifts, Christmas at your fingertips.
It's the shopping event of the season, the Southern Christmas Show, November 14th through 24th at the Park Expo and Conference Center. Celebrate the 12 days of Christmas, a countdown of Yuletide cheer brimming with festive decor and seasonal magic. Buy tickets at southernchristmasshow.com.
Let's go to the Southern Christmas Show.
Won't you come and meet me at the movies? Won't you come and watch a...
And we're back, folks. Noel T. Manning II here, thanking you for sticking with us right here on C19 TV's Meet Me at the Movies. I'm going to be your guide to the glorious, often outrageous, and scandalous world to politics on film during this half of the show. Now, if you thought the first half was packed with crazy, you ain't seen nothing yet. We got more thrillers, more satire, and enough political chaos to make any campaign manager sweat, or at least search for a bag of diapers. So sit back, relax, and let's jump right in with Primary Colors. From 1998, Primary Colors starred John Travolta as the charismatic Southern politician running for president in a dramedy that mirrored a certain Arkansas governor's campaign. Emma Thompson co-stars as the wife, providing a really grounded balance to Travolta's larger-than-life character. This film was adapted from the best-selling novel by someone who we got to know as journalist Joe Klein. It offers a sharp and sometimes humorous take on the complexities of modern political campaigns. Though this is fictional, Primary Colors was so closely related to the reality of what many saw as a thinly veiled portrayal of Bill Clinton's run to the presidency. Just a bit of trivia here. Travolta's performance, it captures the charm and the controversy of a charismatic candidate. And the film ultimately explores the ethical challenges faced by those on the campaign trail. Bob Roberts from 1992. This is a satirical mockumentary that I absolutely love. Tim Robbins stars as Bob Roberts, who is a right-wing folk singer and a political candidate who has a knack for media manipulation. That's another theme that we're continuing to see on these films. Written and directed by Robbins, Bob Roberts cleverly critiques American politics and the role that the media has in shaping public perception. The film's documentary style blurs the line between reality and satire, and it makes the character of Roberts feel incredibly real and eerily authentic. Now, a fun fact here, Roberts' songs and speeches were so convincing that some viewers actually initially they thought this was a real political candidate. The film's themes of corruption and media influence are as real today as the merging of political opinion TV disguising itself as cable TV news. This cult classic is really brilliant, it's entertaining, and it's equally enlightening. In 1972, The Candidate starring Robert Redford. He stars as Bill McKay, a reluctant Senate candidate who runs for office really as a publicity stunt, only to find himself unexpectedly winning. Directed by Michael Ritchie, this film captures the absurdity and the contradictions of political campaigns as McKay's principles slowly erode under the pressure to succeed. Even though released in 1972, The Candidate reflects elected officials and those running for office that we can see daily across our news feeds. The portrayal of how political ambition can be shaped by public image and celebrity rather than the principles is truly a powerful mirror to our society. The film's tagline, "What do we do now?" Well, that perfectly encapsulates the existential crisis that comes with unexpected success. Redford's performance here as the conflicted McKay is one of his most iconic roles, and I think one that everyone needs to see.
To me, that's what this election is all about. Because the time has passed when you can turn your back on the fundamental needs of the people. I think the time has come when the American people realize that we're in this together and that we sink or swim together. And I say to you, maybe, just maybe, that that's the way it should be.
Now we're going to step back to 1940 with The Great Dictator. Charlie Chaplin's classic really is a satirical take on Adolf Hitler, political ambition, and power. Really, it was a brave move in 1940 when the world was on the brink of World War II. Chaplin plays both the ruthless dictator and a humble Jewish barber, and he delivers a really powerful commentary on fascism and dictatorship. A bit of trivia here, The Great Dictator remains a timeless statement on the importance of freedom and democracy. And the film's final speech is still celebrated today as a call for peace and humanity, and it's one of the most lasting and legendary monologues in film history.
Fight for liberty! In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful...
Now, Warren Beatty is a true legend of Hollywood as well, and in 1998 he brought the world Bulworth. He directed this and starred in it, and it's a satire that looks at a senator by the name of Jay Bulworth who decides to speak his mind without a filter in the final days of his campaign. The film dives into controversial topics like race, poverty, and media manipulation, all through a semi-humorous lens. Fun fact here, Beatty performed a series of rap songs himself in the film, and it gave Bulworth this edgy and unpredictable persona. In the Loop from 2009, this British-American comedy offers a satirical look at government officials trying to prevent or accidentally encourage a war. With sharp, witty dialogue and a semi-improvised feel, In the Loop exposes the absurdity of political bureaucracy and the miscommunication that can lead to major consequences. Trivia here, many of the film's memorable lines actually were improvised, adding to this really raw, authentic humor. Featuring standout performances by Peter Capaldi and James Gandolfini, the film highlights the incompetence and the ego clashes often lurking behind political decisions, making this really as hilarious as it is unsettling, and maybe it does feel just a bit too real. In 2018, speaking of a bit too real, Christian Bale transforms into Vice President Dick Cheney in the dark comedy from the brilliant Adam McKay, the film Vice. Bale's dedication to the role really is evident. He gained weight and perfected Cheney's mannerisms to bring authenticity into this role. The film explores Cheney's rise to power, and it examines really a behind-the-scenes look at the decisions that were made to shape modern American politics. Trivia? Gotta give you the trivia. Bale's performance earned him a Golden Globe, and the film's unique mix of humor and real-life politics sparked plenty of discussions about Cheney's influence in the world of politics. Vice is both a thought-provoking and entertaining exploration of political power.
Now, maybe I can handle some of the more mundane jobs, overseeing bureaucracy, managing military, energy, foreign policy.
That sounds good.
So let's travel across the pond. The King's Speech from 2010. Colin Firth stars as King George VI, and he struggles to overcome a stutter, but he has the help of a very unconventional speech therapist played by Jeffrey Rush. Directed by Tom Hooper, this film highlights the pressure of leadership and the courage it takes to confront personal obstacles, sometimes those obstacles that feel insurmountable. The King's Speech won the Academy Award for Best Picture, and First's portrayal earned him an Oscar as well. More trivia coming. I gotta bring that to you every single time. This heartwarming story of friendship and determination made speech therapy a very relatable topic for audiences, proving that even kings need a little help now and then. Earlier in the show, we talked about George Clooney. Well, he is back in Syriana in 2005, starring also Matt Damon. Clooney stars and directs this. It's a geopolitical thriller that dives into the complexities of the oil industry and how those are connected to the politics that surround it. Clooney's role earned him an Academy Award despite suffering an injury, a very severe injury during the filming that left him with some lasting health issues. Syriana is based on real events, presenting a layered, complex view of the power dynamics and corruption that's tied to the oil industry. More trivia. Syriana is a term used by the Washington think tanks to describe a hypothetical reshaping of the Middle East. Yep, Syriana. It offers really a hard-hitting, thought-provoking take on the consequences of global politics. I can't talk politics on film without going back to 1993 and the film Dave. In this film, Kevin Kline stars as a charming everyman who by chance becomes the stand-in for the President of the United States. Directed by Ivan Reitman and starring Kline along with Sigourney Weaver, this heartwarming political comedy explores the idea that maybe, just maybe, a regular person could make a great leader. Fun fact here, the White House set used in Dave became so popular that it was reused in multiple other films. Dave is not only this lighthearted film that looks at power, honesty, and integrity, but it also reminds us that sometimes decency truly is the greatest quality we need in a leader.
And while we're on the subject, I'd like to apologize to the American people. You see, I forgot that I was hired to do a job for you, and that was just a temp job at that. I forgot that I had 250 million people who were paying me to make their lives a little bit better, and I didn't live up to my part of the bargain. You see, I think there are certain things you should expect from your president. I ought to care more about you than I do about me. I ought to care more about what's right than I do about what's popular. I ought to be willing to give up this whole thing for something I believe in.
Now, if you've watched this show at all, maybe in the movies, you know I'm a fan of Aaron Sorkin's writing. Well, in 1995, The American President, directed by Rob Reiner, was written by Aaron Sorkin. And this film, it's a romantic political drama starring Michael Douglas as a widowed president by the name of Andrew Shepard. He falls in love with an environmental lobbyist played by Annette Bening. And what I love about this film is it strikes a balance between romance, political insight, and it uses humor and charm to explore the challenges of leadership and public image. Trivia here, The American President was really so well received that it inspired Aaron Sorkin to create the groundbreaking TV series The West Wing, another exploration of the inner workings of the White House and one of my favorite series of all time. Douglas's portrayal of a president navigating love and politics really offers a refreshing look at leadership with a human touch. And Michael J. Fox, talk about a great supporting cast and a great supporting cast member here. Michael J. Fox was truly pure perfection as President Shepard's advisor for domestic policy. And Richard Dreyfuss as the villain, that's right, his turn as Senator Bob Rumson is reflective of some of the worst that politicians can be. Now, Sorkin's dialogue, it really is living, it's breathing, and without a doubt, it's foundational. It's a foundational trademark that established Sorkin as one of Hollywood's best screenwriters.
America isn't easy. America is advanced citizenship. You've got to want it bad, because it's going to put up a fight. It's going to say, you want free speech? Let's see you acknowledge a man whose words make your blood boil, who's standing center stage and advocating at the top of his lungs that which you would spend a lifetime opposing at the top of yours. You want to claim this land as a land of the free? Then the symbol of your country cannot just be a flag.
So there you have it. We've seen the best and we've seen the worst of what power can do. This episode has been a whirlwind journey. It's been our whirlwind journey through the disreputable, inspiring, and sometimes downright hilarious world of politics and film. From fictional presidents who save the day to ruthless power players who make us cringe in our seats, these films remind us of just how entertaining politics can be, at least on film. So as I leave you, remember, there's always a new world of ideas to explore. There are fresh stories to uncover, and there are unforgettable characters to savor if we only take the time to be open to what the world of cinema can offer. I'm Noel T. Manning II, and I invite you to stay curious, to stay engaged, and keep that popcorn popping as we wait for our next cinematic journey on Meet Me at the Movies. And until then, let's keep that wonder alive on and off screen. For this week, that is a wrap.
Many films to view until we meet again. Next time we see you, we'll gladly fill you in. We'll tell about the happy and the sad ones. We'll talk about the good ones and the bad ones. Many films to view till we meet again.
Hi, I'm Nikki Bliss Carroll, your host for Cleveland Connections, the show that explores what's happening at Cleveland Community College. Join us as we sit down with members of faculty and staff to discuss programs of study, upcoming events, and other exciting campus news. We'll have a new show for you each month on C19 TV, or you can stream us online at c19.tv. Tune in and connect with Cleveland Community College on Cleveland Connections.